The only universal law for being happy forever is the following. Whatever has a cause is never eternal. Therefore, if you want to be happy forever, do not look for a reason, do not look for a cause, do not look for a special situation in order to be happy, because whatever has a cause is temporary, fleeting, momentary. Anything that has a cause is temporary, because when the cause disappears, that thing disappears as well. What has no cause will remain forever, because there is nothing that can destroy it. True happiness cannot have a reason. If you can find the reason, your happiness is not real, it is not authentic. It is not flowing from the deepest part of your being. You are only manipulating it, pretending it. When happiness is artificial joy, you can find a reason for it. But when happiness is true, it is so mysterious that you cannot find a reason. If you ask a Buddha, "Why are you happy?" he will shrug his shoulders. At most, he will say, "Do not ask." Instead of asking why I am joyful, find out why you are not. Happiness is like a small spring in the mountains. When there are no obstacles, the spring flows. When there are rocks in the way, it cannot flow. By removing the rocks, you are not creating the spring. You are only removing what is negative. You are only removing the obstacle. The spring was already there, but it could not flow because of the rocks. When you remove the rocks, you are not creating the spring, it was already there. You have only removed what was blocking it. Then the spring flows. If someone asks, "Why does the spring flow?" Because it is there. That is why it flows. If it is not flowing, then there is a cause. Let this sink deeply into you, because this is also your problem. Your happiness is conditional. When you succeed, you feel happy. When you fail, you feel unhappy. Your happiness depends on some cause. Remember, you cannot always sing. And even when you sing, your song will not always carry melody. Sometimes it will be pure delight, and other times just a dull repetition. Sometimes, when a friend arrives, when you find love, you feel happy. And when the friend leaves, when the beloved is no longer there, you feel unhappy. Your happiness and unhappiness have been produced by external things. It is not something flowing from within. It is not something that truly belongs to you. Others give it to you and take it away. Circumstances give it to you and take it away. Something like that has no real value, because you remain a slave. You are not the master. The Taoists call a master someone whose happiness is absolutely his own. Your body will die. It has a cause. The meeting of your father and your mother was the cause. It has a certain lifespan, and then it will end. Every day you are dying. One day you will simply disappear beneath the grave. But is that all you are? Is there not something more? There is something within you that existed before you were born, and that will remain even AF. Till you are gone. When you have died, that which was there before your birth will still remain. That has no cause. That is your being. If the reason for happiness can be known, then others can cultivate it as well. If someone says, "When I stand on my head, I become very happy," then you also stand on your head and become happy. Happiness then becomes something that can be manipulated. That is how people are imitating one another. And in truth, happiness has no reason. The day you understand this, you can be happy at any moment. If there is a cause, then the cause will require time. You will have to practice. You will have to practice a lot. The radical attitude of the Tao as a whole declares that you can be happy right now. What does that mean? It means there is no reason required, so there is nothing to practice. It is simply a matter of accepting it. It is already present if you accept it. If you do not accept it, you behave like the rock. If you accept it, the rock is removed. It is only a matter of acceptance. God is there, you accept Him. That is all. If you do not accept Him, He will not enter, because He cannot destroy your freedom. If you say no, He will not enter your being. If your door says that no one may enter without your permission, He will wait. He will not even ask for permission. Simply asking would interfere with your freedom. He will wait. He will not ring the bell. He will simply wait. God is everywhere, waiting. And He waits very silently. That is why His presence is not felt. God seems to be the greatest absence in the world. That is why atheists can exist and say, "Where is your God?" We do not see anything. He does not interfere at all. He allows you total freedom, and total freedom includes the freedom to go against God. Remember, life is more than reason. Life goes beyond what the mind can understand. Life must give you more than you can learn. It exceeds your capacity to comprehend. It is far greater than anything you could ever know. But it can be felt. When you approach life only with your head, you approach it partially. And misunderstandings inevitably arise. A person who tries to imagine life intellectually will surely fall into a tremendous trap and will not easily escape it. The moment you begin intellectualizing about life, you start getting lost. Life must be lived. Life must be lived existentially, not intellectually. The intellect is not a bridge, it is a barrier. Now let us distinguish between science and wisdom. If the law of gravity has been discovered, it does not need to be discovered again and again. That would be foolish. You cannot go into the world and declare, "What Newton discovered, I have rediscovered. I saw an apple fall and rediscovered the law of gravity." People would laugh. They would say, "There is nothing new there. Discover something that has not yet been discovered." Science is information. If someone has made a discovery, it can be transferred to others. The knowledge science seeks comes from the outside, so it can be learned from the outside. Wisdom, however, must be rediscovered again and again. It is like love. Millions have loved before you, but unless you love, you will never know what love is. You cannot say, "Millions have loved." So what is the point of loving again? Many people have loved. They have written about it in their diaries. Their love letters are available. You can read about love in books and gather knowledge. But no, you will have to love. You will have to rediscover it yourself. Unless you discover it, it will not be real knowing. Wisdom is like love, not like science. What Buddha discovered, what Lao Tzu discovered, what Jesus discovered, you must discover again for yourself. Always remember, the menu is not the food. You can study the menu again and again, it will not nourish you. You must eat. You must chew. You must digest. You must be existentially connected with your food. Studying the menu or the cookbook will not help. The scholar only studies the menu. The scholar remains one of the hungriest people in life. He has never lived. He has never loved. He has never taken risks. He has never acted, never danced, never celebrated. He has only sat and thought about life. The intellectual has decided to understand life intellectually first and then act. No. First you must act, then understanding comes. It is like someone saying, "First I must know what love is, and then I will love." How can you know what love is? The only way is to fall in love. There is no other way. You can ask many people. You can consult books. You will find thousands of things about love, but not love itself. You may become a great scholar. Your mind may be filled with information. But information is not knowledge. Wisdom is not information. Information may deceive you, but it cannot deceive life. As far as life is concerned, you will remain a desert. The flower of love will never bloom within you. The same is true of everything meaningful. The same is true of everything organic. The same is true of everything alive. Therefore, logical people are never happy. They cannot be. They chose the wrong path from the very beginning. They assume that since everything else has a cause, happiness must have one too. That is their mistake. Happiness requires only understanding, not a cause. And even understanding is not its cause. Understanding simply unveils it. It is already within you. Remove the veil, and suddenly it appears. Your beloved is within you. It only needs to be unveiled, that is all. Unveiling is not a cause. A cause implies that something must be created. Unveiling simply means it was already there, but you were foolish enough not to see it. Many of you will find yourselves surrounded by logical people. They believe that truth must be learned, that it is simply a matter of education. If you learn it properly, you will know the truth. No. Truth must be lived, not learned. Truth must be experienced. You will not know it just because you have become more informed. In fact, to know the truth, you will have to go through a process of unlearning. You will have to clean your mind. A truly understanding person does not pretend to know. Then there is a possibility that one day he may truly know. Begin with ignorance, and perhaps one day you may be fortunate enough to know. Begin with knowledge, and you will never be able to know. In life, you will always encounter people who want to direct you. They may have good intentions, but one thing is certain, they are entangling you. They are trying to push you in directions that do not arise spontaneously within you. To the well-intentioned, you must say, "Thank you for the trouble you are taking for me, but I will follow my own path. If I fail, there will be consolation in knowing that I followed my own path and failed. But if I follow you, even if I succeed, I will always regret it." Now, a story. A great doctor, a great surgeon, had become internationally renowned. When he grew old and was about to retire, all the students he had trained around the world gathered to celebrate him. On that day, they noticed the doctor was very sad. One student asked, "Master, do you have a problem? Why do you seem so sad? You have had a successful life. No one can compete with you. You are unique in your field. You are the undisputed leader, and no one will replace you for centuries. You have everything needed to be happy. Look at your students, they are spread across the world. Why are you sad?" The doctor replied, "I feel very sad when I contemplate all this success, because I never wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a dancer. My whole life has passed, it has been wasted, because deep down I regret listening to others. Yes, I have been successful. But this success does not satisfy me, because it is not mine. It is like being forced to eat when you are not hungry. The meal may be very nutritious, but you would feel nauseous. You wanted water, and someone forced you to drink milk. Milk may be better than water, but you wanted water. You were thirsty, and the milk did not satisfy you. It disappointed you. The sadness of this man is meaningful. He was sad because all his success had turned into failure. Deep down, he failed himself. He did not trust his own intuition. He allowed others to manipulate him. Remember, listen only to yourself. Do not allow anyone to discipline you into something you are not. Do not allow anyone to enslave you. Do not allow anyone to condition you. Throughout human history, man has believed himself to be the supreme creation of existence. Man has believed he is almost God, and he feels very pleased with that idea. But how can happiness exist with ego? Misery comes with ego. This happens even if you are a great devotee. If a Christian says how beautiful Christ is, if a Hindu says how beautiful Krishna is, if a Buddhist says how beautiful the Buddha is, the Buddhist will not accept that Christ is beautiful. It does not satisfy his ego. The Christian will not accept that the Buddha is beautiful. It does not satisfy his ego. The Hindu cannot believe that Christ or Muhammad are beautiful. It does not satisfy his ego. Friedrich Nietzsche was more honest than many others. He said, "I cannot admit that God exists, because then I would be second, and I cannot be second. If God exists, then I will always be secondary. No matter how much I grow, no matter how far I go, I will never be first. That is unacceptable." So he declared, God is dead, and man is free. In a way, he was consistent. I say it in a way, because deep down everyone thinks like this, every ego wants to be first. And Lao Tzu says, no matter what you achieve, nothing will be achieved, because ambition will keep growing more and more. Lao Tzu never tried to achieve anything. He was not ambitious. An ambitious person will inevitably be frustrated. Ambition arises from frustration, and from ambition comes more frustration. It is a vicious circle. Remember, only a non-ambitious person can be happy. This old master was not concerned with succeeding in the world or proving that he was someone. He was not concerned with securing a place in history. He had no interest in leaving his mark, because that is foolishness. He says, if you occupy a place in history, what use is it? The clarity of this old man is profound. If you are ambitious, you will suffer, because ambition is never satisfied. If you are not ambitious, you are happy, because frustration cannot trap you. Remember, becoming someone will not lead you to true happiness, because deep down there is comparison. If you feel superior at one moment, at another you will feel inferior. I once heard a religious man teaching his disciples, always look at people who have less than you, and you will feel very happy. If you have a house, look at those who do not have one. Naturally, you will feel happy. If you have one eye, look at those who are blind. You will feel happy. But what kind of happiness is that? And what kind of spirituality is that? You cannot avoid the other side of the coin. You have one eye. When you look at someone blind, you feel happy. But when you meet someone with two beautiful eyes, what will you feel? You will feel unhappy. In what you call happiness, unhappiness is already hidden. Through comparison, no one reaches happiness. Happiness is a non-comparative state. Do not compare. The moment you compare, you create problems. Comparative happiness is pseudo-happiness. I have a big car, and you don't. Therefore I am happy. This is absurd. How can I be happy because you do not have a car? I have a big house, and you don't. Therefore I am happy. This happiness seems more based on making others miserable than on truly being happy. Being happy when someone else is unhappy is a violent attitude. And that is how people go in the wrong direction, becoming oppressors, exploiters, dangerous. They become a curse to the world. Happiness does not arise from comparison. A person who needs to feel superior in order to be happy is deeply suffering from an inferiority complex. Only an inferior person thinks in terms of superiority. A real person, an authentic person, is neither superior nor inferior. They are simply unique. No one is less than them, and no one is greater than them. All existence is equal. Trees and rocks, animals and birds, men and women, we all share existence on equal terms. When you see this tremendous equality, this uniqueness, you become happy. And your happiness has no reason. It is causeless. The Tao says, consolation is something negative, it is not fulfillment. Fulfillment has nothing to do with consolation. Fulfillment belongs to a completely different dimension. Try to understand this. Consolation means that somehow you rationalize a situation in order not to be too worried, not to be too disturbed. You create psychological cushions around yourself. You realize you are poor. A deep sadness arises. So you create a cushion. There are millions of poor people. What is the point of worrying? That's just how life is. You have created a buffer. You are sick. Unhappiness appears. You go to the hospital, look around, and suddenly you feel better. At least you are not as sick as others. You have created a cushion. You lose a leg. Later, you see a beggar who has lost both legs, and you console yourself. These are cushions. You always look at those who have less than you. In this way, life becomes less shocking. You live more comfortably, more conveniently. You are no longer deeply affected. Slowly, these cushions create such distance between you and life that nothing truly touches you anymore. You live encapsulated inside your cushions, inside your philosophies, your consolations. These cushions do not allow you to see reality as it is. They are simply ways of comforting yourself. Yes, misfortune exists. But you can protect yourself by creating explanations, rationalizations. Humanity has moved from one rationalization to another, always finding a new one. Every society creates its own forms of consolation. Today, psychoanalysis is one of the major forms of consolation in the West. When you go to a psychoanalyst, he puts all the responsibility on your mother. You feel relieved and say, "So what can I do?" The psychoanalyst replies, "You cannot change your mother, just as you cannot change your past. Your mother is your past. What can you do about it? It already happened. You were born to a mother with certain characteristics, and she ruined your life, so you are not responsible. You feel better. A calamity happened. What is done is done. Accept it." After many years of psychoanalysis, you are simply prepared to accept things as they are. All the explanations are rationalizations, and there is an explanation for everything. If you have a question, they have an answer. But when it comes to themselves, things become complicated. It is said that Freud used to explain everything in terms of sex. Whatever you did, he could find a sexual explanation. If you dreamed of climbing a mountain, it was sexual, you were climbing a woman. If you dreamed of driving fast, it was sexual, you wanted to penetrate quickly. He interpreted everything through sex. However, sometimes he encountered difficulty. He himself was a heavy cigar smoker. One of his disciples asked him, "How do you explain your cigar smoking?" Freud replied, "Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar." The disciple was not satisfied. He told the others, "That only proves that Sigmund Freud has rationalized his own cigar habit." Freud wanted to protect himself. It would have been too disturbing to admit that he might have a hidden complex behind his smoking. Everyone has a complex, so everyone seeks consolation through it. But it was too unsettling for Freud to admit it. He could say, "I am the most important psychoanalyst of all time. I am the founder of psychoanalysis. I am smoking, and I know what I am doing. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar." Psychoanalysis constantly tries to find the why of everything, as if knowing why would solve the problem. Why are you unhappy? Go to the psychoanalyst, he will find the reason. Your mother was like this, your father was like that, your childhood was this way, that is the cause. And you feel relieved. You feel relieved because now you have a rational explanation. But why? A continuous why. As if the why were going to resolve anything, when in reality it simply postpones the problem and pushes it further away. And then the why can be asked again. Hindus say you did something wrong in a past life. Ask why, and they will go to another past life. If you ask a sage why, he will say, "Stop. You have crossed the limits. These are things to experience, not to question endlessly." In the East, religion became consolation. In the West, psychoanalysis is becoming the same thing, a form of consolation. Psychoanalysis has become almost a compulsive obsession with analyzing everything and finding its cause. In the United States especially, it has become nearly a collective neurosis. Everyone who can afford it goes to a psychoanalyst or psychiatrist. Those who do not go are usually the ones who cannot afford it. When women meet in social clubs, they talk about their psychiatrist, about what he said and how deep their analysis is. Everything is reduced to the lowest denominator. If you ask a psychoanalyst, "What is the cause of this parrot?" he might say, "Mud." If you have spiritual experiences, "What is the cause?" he might say, "Sex." If you realize that all sages who experience enlightenment or nirvana are simply experiencing sexuality in another form, you feel reassured. Then you do not need to worry. It is just sublimated sexuality. So you are fine where you are. If Buddha attained happiness, it was merely sexual fantasy. Nothing special. You can continue reading your magazines and enjoying your fantasies, because Buddha's experience was nothing more than a transformation of sexual impulses into socially acceptable forms. Explanations upon explanations. Clever consolations. The world, the afterlife, marriage, monastic life, so many complications. If you listen to the Tao, the message is very simple. Just be. Being is the goal of the Tao. And one more thing must be understood. You already are. There is no becoming. You do not need to become anything. What is already there lives within you. It only needs to be allowed to open, so its fragrance can be released into the wind. That is the true song. That is joy. Remember, if you seek consolation, you will find it. But it is counterfeit currency. It is comfortable. It is convenient. It is like a drug. You begin drinking, but you remain unhappy. Your misery does not change, but by drinking, you start forgetting it. Consolation is a kind of intoxication. Nothing truly changes, because the door to misery remains open. You continue comparing. Comparison is the fundamental cause of misery. When you stop comparing, when you are neither higher nor lower, when you are simply yourself, when you do not think in relation to others but only in terms of your tremendous aloneness, then you become happy. You must understand the difference between discipline and spontaneity. If something comes from discipline, the Tao is against it. If something comes from spontaneity, the Tao is in favor of it. The Tao is spontaneity. The Tao is what is. The Tao is a tremendous acceptance of what exists. And in that acceptance, one blossoms. Be anarchic. Be authentically true to your own being. Priests and politicians, avoid them. Avoid them for your own good. Remember, you must simply be yourself, not someone else. And do not be ambitious, that is mediocrity. Simply live your life as fully as you can.